I'm Tom Silver, a scientific hypnotherapist for 37 years. I have an active therapy process and practice going on internationally. I do a lot of hypnotherapy sessions online and then also live in an office. I live in Medford, Oregon. Teach courses around the world in neurological scientific hypnosis. Wrote books. I have books out. In fact, my most recent book, based on my life story, called Kill the Hypnotist, which is a really fantastic read, and it's based on my work with the Taiwan Secret Service and the government on the biggest weapons procurement scandal in Taiwan history. And in this book, I tell it all. I tell the good, the bad, and the challenging. My real life story, and then also my work in cracking the code of hypnotizing military officers through an interpreter in Mandarin Chinese against their will to get the truth out of them, and then to erase or replace their memories, creating maybe a state of we might call amnesia, an amnestic state, or a memory that they remember about their life, but that didn't pertain to the biggest weapons procurement scandal and murder in Taiwan and French history. So it was a huge, huge deal. And I worked on that case back in the 90s. But I'm glad to be here with you, Jeanette, and to talk about my life or talk about scientific hypnotism. I know that you attended one of my training courses in Holland that we had a few years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago almost.
Yeah, and we hung together. Yeah. We went to museums. We went to the beach. We went out to eat in seafood restaurants and had some sushi together, and really had a great time. Yeah, we really had a great time. Yes, connecting.
Those are the important things to remember.
Yeah. Walking through that beautiful park, going to that wonderful museum, and having an amazing time in Den Haag. The Hague, as the Americans call it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, very good. And I will see what we use of this, but I'm also curious about how your health is nowadays.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah. Well, my health is good now. Some people don't realize, and I don't hide this because this is the truth. And being honest and having integrity and being truthful is a wonderful thing, as well as how you use your mind, because this mind can be an amazing healing entity. It could be a mental chemical computer that can elicit amazing drugs into the body, natural drugs and energies and everything else, and good chemicals and hormones. I've been diagnosed with what we call aggressive prostate cancer, and it's really advanced aggressive prostate cancer, but I don't let those words, affect me. What it is, it's I'm having a chance to deal and to how I react and how I behave during this wonderful journey and experiencing a disease that people call it, called cancer. Now, I've had this for about 10 years. Diagnosed a little over 10 years ago, had radiation treatment, cancer came back, had a radical salvage surgery to remove some things inside my stomach and area. And, all in all, I've had an amazing quality of life. I was given 5 years to live 10 years ago, but that was a diagnosis based on statistics, based on a belief system that we don't have to believe. That's a belief system for someone else. But it wasn't my belief system. And as you see, it's been 10 years now. Now, of course, I do self-hypnosis. I lower my brain waves. I tune up my immune system and my vitality and energy. I also use medical science. So I'm on certain pills, and then I get a hormone shot every 3 months to slow the progression of the cancer, to slow it down, to slow down the growth. So all in all, I'm doing great. Life is fantastic. I have an amazing life. I get to help people through hypnotism, neuroscience. I get to develop and fine-tune and create more methodologies, even more advanced than when you went to the training course. I've even advanced my science even further. See, because I'm an experimenter. I'm a tester. I'm a scientist. And I believe if we learn old technology, like a lot of people do when they go to hypnotherapy training courses, usually conducted by someone that just learned hypnosis and they've gone to a trainer's course and now they're teaching something. It's like the blind leading the blind. They're teaching processes and methodologies based on a theory that they've never even put into action, most of these trainers, textbook trainers. So I believe if you're going to learn a science or learn anything, learn it from someone who's got a track record, who's been living that experience for years and years and years. You know, the other day I was on a wonderful Zoom call with a young lady, a friend of mine named Valerie Austin. Now, I don't know if you know Valerie Austin, but she was the top hypnosis trainer in England for years and years and years. She was number one. I mean, she was amazing in her techniques, in her ability to teach people and train people in scientific hypnosis. You know, and I think a lot of these young up-and-coming wannabes, or these young up-and-coming hypnotists or NLPers or whatever that want to become real successful, real famous very quickly without paying their dues, you know, because they've learned something and they put these videos out on YouTube, which might be real and it might be faked and staged. I think they're missing the opportunity from training and learning and hanging around with somebody who has lived the science for many years, you know, a expert, a living legend in the field. I'm not calling myself a living legend, but somebody who has an amazing track record. You can learn something from them, not just the techniques, but the philosophy of hypnosis, the philosophy of neuroscience. And I think that's missing in a lot of these training courses, you know, and the fact is there's so many strange methods and techniques that are out there that there is not a uniting of the minds into an academic, higher educational, scientific form of hypnosis training, of neuroscience training, because that's what hypnosis is. It's neuroscience. I've been trying to do this for years, but again, there's so many other methods and quackery, and they're mixing metaphysics with hypnosis and robotic techniques and NLP and script memorization and things like that, then I think the science is still in a diluted, polluted state. And until we purify the science by teaching it as a fundamental neurophysiological science, we're going to always be a limited science.
Yeah.
So how's that for a lecture?
Good. Yeah, good. I get excited. I was already, tell you honest, before I sent you the email, because when I thought of you this weekend, I thought, let's see online how you're doing. And I saw your institute with a beautiful photo and your website, and a lot of improvement on the website.
Yes.
And more online offering. So, and it took me, of course, I was lost for hours because I was seeing your videos. And that's exactly what you say. What we are missing now is to find someone. And I thought, especially now, we cannot travel, because I felt, I want to come to you and to spend time because when I see you working, I can feel, even if it's online, but we spend time together. I mean. And I felt also when I did the training with you, it's not the words, it's what I see and what I feel, what you're doing.
Right.
And it's and what I feel is you do it so there's always I see a lot of strength and speed. You're so fast in what you do. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, you only get it by doing it and by experiencing. And so you have to do it a lot. And that's what, and that energy, but you can do it when you do it a lot, and so you need experience. And I think that's the point where we agree on. I want to feel it, to experience it, to do it.
Right.
And that's my way of learning, because now they call it. Many people talk about Erickson and Ericksonian therapy, but they just take his words.
Right. They take his words or certain physical, actions that he did, but there's a missing ingredient, and that is the essence of who you are as a human being. Your ability to transmit through your words, through your actions, through your body, through your mind. Maybe we can call it an energy force. Maybe we can call it intention. Maybe we can call it, a power, mind power. Scientists talk about the mind with frequencies and power, neurodynamic activity within the brain. So most people learn mechanics, but they're missing the essence and their own belief system in it. How many times have I trained in courses and I have the students say, well, I don't feel I was hypnotized. I don't think it's working. I can't get hypnotized. My gosh, it happens. It happened in your course a bunch of times. Well, guess what? Most people don't even know what hypnosis is. Most hypnotists don't even know what it is to be in a degree or a state of hypnosis. They think of extremes. Well, I'm either wide awake or I'm in some deep trance. I'm either wide awake or I'm deep asleep. And of course, they're using the incorrect words. That's also the problem in our scientific world of hypnosis. And I won't even call it a scientific world, because most people out there that teach hypnosis and practice it are not practicing it in a higher educational academic way. So the fact is, there is really a fundamental belief system in the operator for it to work. And if you don't realize that every time you're bringing up an emotion, every time you're in a little distracted state where you don't remember what just happened, you were hypnotized. Every time you're driving in your car and you lose awareness of what you're doing, you're in hypnosis. Every time you're watching a movie and you're feeling the emotions of the movie, you're hypnotized. You're not in some deep unconscious state. See, but you are in a heightened state of suggestibility. You are in a frequency activated state of hypnosis.
There you
go.
We are in hypnosis a lot of time in the day.
Hey, guess what? I was just in hypnosis, But I know what it feels like. I do not have to be in some deep trance bundle of jelly and open my eyes and say, what the hell did you just do to me? What'd you say to me while I was under? Do you know how many people, if you put them into a somnambulous state, a artificial triggered somnambulous state, how many people might be worried, what did that hypnotist say or implant in my mind? And guess what? There are a lot of unethical people in the field of hypnotism. Believe it or not, folks, there's a lot of ethical, great people, and there's a lot of deceptors, manipulators, and even predators in the field of hypnotism, just like the field of medicine or psychology or any field. You know what I'm saying? So doing your due diligence and research and finding somebody who has had proven track records and life experience is the most important. See, years ago, I hung around with a guy named Orman McGill. Now, Orman McGill was considered the dean of American hypnosis. That was coined by Gil Boyne, who was a very well-known, renowned hypnotherapist. And so I used to spend a lot of time with Orman McGill. And Orman and I, we talked about brain waves, we talked about neuroscience, we talked about philosophies. He talked about his methodologies. I was pioneering and working on formulating my methodologies. But just by me being in a close relationship with 10 years with a living legend, I got to learn certain philosophies behind the processes. No one teaches philosophy of hypnosis or the psychology of hypnosis. All they're teaching is inductions, which is an incorrect word, inductions to hypnotize people, and then other formulas or processes that might be very successful. But also, how many students are going to course after course after course after course, and when they're in working with a client, what are they doing? There's so much in conscious mind thinking about throwing a little NLP. We'll throw a little Erickson. I'll do a little mirroring and anchoring. I'll do a little inferential suggestion or progressive relaxation. So they're throwing in little bits of everything, and that's because they've never mastered one thing well. Now, I'm not saying that about everybody. So remember, you people listening, I'm not talking about anyone individually. I'm talking about a generalized awareness of what I have observed over 37 years. It's just my opinion. So you could take it or leave it. You can delete it or install it. Doesn't really matter to me. But I have seen a lot and experienced a lot in 37 years. I have a proven track record. Look at all the darn TV shows I've done in the United States that went all the way around the world. Brainwash, Discovery Channel. I was recently on the Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, one of the top podcasts in the United States. I've worked with a lot of celebrities, and I've done a lot. So I have a gold plate of honor from the Taiwan Department of Defense. So I do know what I'm talking about. And I think it's important that whenever you learn a methodology, that you practice it and you get used to it, and then you orchestrate it into your own core being and personality. But if you don't believe hypnosis is real and you're a hypnotherapist, you will have a low success rate, and you'll be a very unsuccessful hypnotherapist. Because if you don't believe you've ever been hypnotized before, like students tell me, then they still, frankly, don't know much about hypnosis.
No.
Go right ahead. Your
I
turn.
don't get it. And
Uh-oh. You froze. You froze up.
and I wait now till you start moving again.
Okay.
There it is. You were like this for a while. Yeah. Oh, you're hypnotizing me.
A new method. A new method. You know, that's a good method.
Yeah.
Watch my hands. Each time my hand comes closer, your eyes will dilate more. Each time it goes back, they'll de-dilate. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
So what, because I get what you say, and what I see. So let's say a young, enthusiastic person who really likes to get it, because what you say, you've been having your time with Orman McGill. How, if someone wants to learn it this way, or to get the experience, how can we get it? Because what I see, it's all those courses and it's methods and techniques that they offer for 3 days or 4 days, or so what's your idea about it? How can people, because this, I think your conclusion is right, and what can we do about this? Let's say that a person really wants to get it this way.
Well, I think you need to really explore the courses, and don't be blinded by the sizzle of what somebody says. Do a little research. We call it due diligence. Find out who that person is, who that hypnotherapist is. Who did they train for? Where did they train? How long have they been in practice? Are they really do they really have a life therapy practice, or did they just learn hypnosis to become a trainer, an in-and-out burger 24-hour trainer? You know, so you really need to find that out, and then you know, do research on them. There's a lot of good trainers out there, but I think there's a lot of confusing methods out there that are really that are their theories, and maybe they work, but they're really not scientific. And if you stay in an unscientific world in hypnotism, and you talk about trance and sleep and deeper and just conscious and subconscious, you know, and not really know what you're talking about in a real high academic scientific way, you're going to only be able to communicate with a certain amount of the people in the society. Because you will lose a lot of people who are intellectual, academic, and scientific. And that's a fact. And then when you combine it with metaphysics, it's great if you're working with a spiritual metaphysical person and we're talking about the universe and spirits and angels and all that stuff. But that really doesn't have that's really not a major player in the academic scientific world. You know, so I think the fact is we need to get into learning hypnosis in a purer state of what it really is. But most people who learn something are already preconditioned to do what they've learned, and they're less open to learn something new. I saw that in our course in Holland. There were some students practicing their old methodologies being real loud and boisterous and looking around and seeing who's watching me, who's observing me. So a lot of egos going on, and our field does have a lot of egos and arrogance. And there's a lot of people that are very what's the right word? Negatively aggressive towards others in the field. It's almost like a dog eat dog field. There's a lot of jealousy and competition, and a lot of undermining other people for who they are, trying to make others look bad to justify you looking good. So it really, they're when you learn medicine, there's certain ethics and codes, and you take the Hippocratic Oath and things like that. Hypnosis is still the Wild West, and that's why some countries have made it illegal, and some states in the United States have made it illegal for the lay hypnotists, the non-licensed medical or psychological people, to conduct hypnotherapy sessions, or to even call themselves hypnotherapists. So and there's methods being taught that were used 150 years ago, and that's great. But I don't have a refrigerator or a freezer that I put a block of ice in to keep my food cold. I don't drive an old jalopy car with a 1905 engine in it that goes 20 miles an hour. I don't use radiation treatment that they used back in the 1930s that killed a lot of people and poisoned their body. So if you're gonna look at hypnosis as technology, we got to continue to advance the technology by utilizing it and using various diagnostic tools or understanding on how it relates to the neuroscience of hypnosis.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it does. And I think you offer also more new things on your website now.
It's
also because what I remember that we've been doing and I loved it when we were doing the session with when we could see the brain waves. And I think you offered. Can you do this online now as well to teach it to people?
You can teach neuroscience online with various diagnostic electroencephalograph devices or galvanic skin responses to monitor the autonomic nervous system, such as biofeedback. You can teach that online. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think we're all going towards online. The past 3 months, I've done over 80. I've done over 80 online hypnotherapy sessions.
Yeah.
And the ones I conducted were amazing, fantastic, interactive, physical, with tremendous, great results. And I have actually developed and advanced the techniques of online hypnosis to an amazing higher state of success. Actually, I think what I'm conducting online right now is even more successful than I was working in an office with somebody, because they're in their own home, and I can do the same types of methods, and I've developed some new, even more dynamic hypnosis techniques and processes to put that person into that receptive state of hypnosis, that low brainwave state of suggestibility. So you can teach that stuff. In fact, I'm working right now, since my goal is elevating scientific hypnosis and teaching people to understand it, whether you're a hypnotist or an Ericksonian or an NLP person.
And before you continue, can you explain what you mean with scientific hypnosis?
Well, when I say scientific hypnosis, I mean hypnosis based on the understanding of the activity within the brain, in the mind, and how that activity changes certain areas of activity within that brain that can stimulate changes through the various nervous systems, like the autonomic nervous system, like the sympathetic nervous system, which is usually so amplified with people that have anger issues or extreme depressions or fears and things like that. So my goal is people understanding hypnosis as a neuroscience, just like computer technology. This is a dual processing computer that most people utilize and use very successfully incorrectly. So almost everybody that comes in to see me that's got these traumas or these phobias or these addictions, that they have been successful in creating them because they're using their minds incorrectly, successfully. So they're successful in the negative results that they have in their life. So I think it's important that when we teach scientific hypnosis, we teach how the brain operates, how the frequencies within the brain, what those frequencies and activities are in a scientific, medical, linguistical terminology. Also, how those different suggestions or messages the hypnotist gives their patients or clients, what they are doing to the physiology. What organs are they affecting that are creating changes within their physiology or producing neurochemicals through the lower stem of the brain, through the limbic system and things like that. So I think it's really important that, and this is what I love in my education, that I'm teaching a form of medical scientific hypnosis. And when people realize, that it's more than just a technique, but what is it doing to alter neurology, physiology, and various conscious brainwave patterns and activity. And I think once people understand that, the therapist, once they understand it, they'll be able to apply their techniques knowing where they are pinpointing the results to go. You know what I mean? So we're not just talking about emotions. We're not just talking about stress or anxiety or various different mind activities, but we're talking about creating new platforms for academic hypnosis, scientific hypnosis, to be able to install new processors, operating systems, removing and deleting neuromental viruses, being able to defragment activity that people are still holding on to from their past that we can classify as traumas or sociological negative experiences from their past. So you see the way I'm communicating even about it and talking about it? I'm talking about this as a technology. Hypnotherapy and scientific hypnotherapy is a technology, just like computer technology. Yeah. But we don't operate our mental dual processing computers as successfully as we can be taught how to do by utilizing hypnosis and teaching people how to operate their mind and how to change their thoughts and to reconfigure their emotions so that they have a great quality of life.
And that's exactly what is lacking most of the time, this way of thinking, what you described, to see it as I've been in ICT, I don't know if I told you before, I've been in ICT for some years. Mm-hmm. And I call it reprogramming.
And explain what that is to people. What you
ICT is, it's information and computer technology. Mm-hmm. So I've been working for 15 years as a social worker, and I was working in crisis intervention in psychiatric hospitals, and I was done with it because I love to work with people, but I felt powerless. So I switched profession and I started to work for IBM, and I was trained in computer hardware and software, and I loved it, the technique, but I missed the people. So after some years, I started to give computer training to people. So I was again using my talents to be with people, but the subject was not their problems anymore, but how to use a computer. And then after some years, I started my own business in personal development and improvement but now I call it reprogramming. And I also teach people, and I say you can reprogram your own mind, your own brain. But I like the technical approach, and that's what I miss in most of what's offered. It's like a trick. I call it the CAS trick, band trick, or the non-smoking trick, or the dieting trick. And it was funny because, and there's a proof that it doesn't work, because I've seen very fat people offering hypnosis in how to lose weight. And diagnosed, and I see
cancer.
you look even better than 2 years ago, and your skin is getting better and better. So, and that's what I do myself as well. I love to do self-hypnosis. I record my own voice and listen to it.
Right, but think about it. Think about what you're teaching and training. You're not even using the word hypnosis because the word hypnosis has so much confusion, has so much misunderstanding, and is even tied in with charlatanism and deception and a trick, or it's magic, or it's fake. So, I mean, you know, even when you told me, you know, what your business is, I didn't hear the word hypnosis. See, and what is it? And what is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming? What is it? It's a form of hypnosis. Really. What is Ericksonian? It's hypnosis. Milton Erickson was a hypnotist. He was also a communicator through various linguistical communication and confusion to put somebody into a receptive state and give indirect or inferential suggestions. So even yourself does not use the word, you know, I'm a hypnotherapist, or I'm doing mind healing hypnotherapy. And that is because it is so polluted, diluted, it is so contaminated, and there's so many schools of thought that you know, to me, some of them, you know, if it works, it works. If I can convince you this cup of tea is going to heal you and you believe it, you'll probably be healed. So maybe some of the success rate is just because of the psychosomatic belief that this process will work. But I do think that it's like the old Wild West. There's way too many theories, methods, and everyone's, you know, that gastric band deal, you know, that's made a lot of dough for a lot of people. And some people lose weight in it because they believe it's going to work, just like someone coming in to let go of weight under hypnosis. But some of those hypnotherapists, or these gastric band, whatever you want to call them, are wearing medical outfits. When people are coming in, their room is like a hospital. I mean, it's all staged and all of that stuff. I mean, you know, and
it's
go ahead. It's all what?
It's all focused on outside. It's focused on outside yourself. And I think the answer is inside us.
Well, and that's because
all this theater.
Yeah, all this theater and this creativity and everything. Yeah, but the other thing is, you said something important. You got an obese person who is obese and maybe has diabetes and all this stuff. I'll make sure the connection comes back. Okay, and they're having sessions for you to lose weight. I remember there was a guy named Mark Gravel who was a trainer and teacher at HMI, Hypnosis Motivation Institute, and that's where I was a cameraman for a year, worked my way through the school, and then branched off to develop my own methods. He used to talk to me, and I have a video.
Wait, I get a message. Can you hear? That said that Tom Silver's network's bandwidth is low, and I see the screen is a bit slow now.
Okay, mine looks good.
Maybe do you have other programs on?
No, I don't have any other programs on.
I get the message that your bandwidth is.
Yeah, that happens. You know, I live in a forest.
Yeah.
My internet's on the telephone. I have telephone internet. You know, DSL. I'm back 15 years, but I live in a forest here on our property. So, but what I was saying...
I mean, it's worth it.
Now, where were we? Before you did a conversation break, where were we? You threw me off. Where were we right now? Where was I going?
You were working at the camera with...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so, but I worked my way through school. So anyway... I have a video. I found a video of Mark Gravel, and I love the guy. He was a great guy. He was a great trainer and teacher. But I have this video of him giving me methods, teaching me methods to get these clients dependent on you, so they can come in for weeks, for months, and for years.
Yeah.
Almost like to hook them in and to keep them forever dependent on me as their therapist. He was telling me how he did it, and he said he learned it from John Kappas, and he wound up with John Kappas's clients. So the fact is, some of these therapists are trying to create psychological or suggestible dependency under hypnosis, even with the suggestions they give the person while they're hypnotized. You know, see, it's unfortunate, but a lot of people wanted to learn hypnosis because they could control people, they could manipulate people. I can hypnotize some girl to have sex with me, or I can catch a man to marry me, or whatever, you know, or I can, you know. So people tend to want to learn hypnosis because of a power trip. Some people want to learn it because they want to help other human beings, and maybe they want to find answers to their own neurosis, their own life challenges, and maybe through hypnosis. Learning hypnosis, they can better their own lives, which I believe we all can anyway. But I do think that the standard needs to be raised, and I'm creating I'm creating an online school right now. I'm going to be creating an online school because I need to reach people who are hypnotherapists or NLP people or want to become hypnotherapists. So at least I can give them a fundamental scientific understanding of hypnosis and the and techniques and methods, and make it cost effective. Because let's face it, it's pretty expensive for people to fly out somewhere to work with me. I was teaching in China for 7 years. 7 years. I have 2 books out on scientific hypnosis in China. Or if I was supposed to be in Holland this year. I had a good friend of mine, Rob, who is an amazing NLP trainer, close friend of mine, that I was going to be teaching a course in Holland, but due to this COVID virus, that was canceled. I was going to be at a big hypnosis convention in Rome, Italy, working with a psychologist named Igor, and then also Perret, who does mesmerism. I was going to be going out there and lecturing and teaching out there. But it gets expensive for people to go to courses. Let's face it, how many people have gone to 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 hypnotherapy courses, and they're still not practicing hypnosis? They're looking for something, or they just want to be in a group of people because they're lonely being at home, or they want to make new friends. But how many people learn something and never put it into action? A high percentage of people learn methods and never utilize them. And that's okay. But if you're going to spend money and make an investment, then maybe you should put it into action. And when you practice something that you've learned, practice it in its pure state. Don't pollute it and dilute it and change it. I had students in Holland already changing the words that I was telling them to follow. You know, it's like playing piano. If I can learn the notes, if I can learn the scales, then I can improvise from them. But if I'm never learning something in its purest academic, clearest form, then I've already altered the process. I've already contaminated it.
Yeah. I was amazed at the last hypnosis training I was yours. And it was the 3rd one I did. And I was amazed by the people said, you have to, I've been to that course as well, and to that teacher, and to that teacher. You should go there and there and there. And I said, I don't want to go there. I want to learn this and be good in this and get better and better in this. And I don't need all these different tricks, because I saw they were not taking it, they were not learning it. And what you say, they were telling you what they knew.
Yes.
And I said, we're not paying Tom to tell him what we know. Listen and practice it. And I also think people are afraid to practice it because, of course, if you practice, you make mistakes. Because we're not perfect. And allow yourself to practice and practice and practice and get better and learn from mistakes.
Yeah, but what if you didn't make mistakes? What if the fact that each time listen to this, each time you're practicing, guess what? You're just practicing it. If I'm going to say I made a mistake, then I'm going to justify a fear or disbelief system to stop myself from doing it. But every time I'm doing it, I'm getting better at it. Each time I'm becoming more successful at it. So it's mindset. You know, if I'm going to look for mistakes and everything, I'm just justifying the reason not to do it. But let's also remember one other thing: laziness. People want to get the greatest benefit from the least amount of work or effort. And people, human beings, a lot of them are not passionate. They don't have enough desire, and they, figure out reasons not to find time to do something. Oh, well, I want to exercise. I just don't have time. Well, guess what? How many hours are they watching brainless TV? Or how many hours a day are they doing something ridiculous, like eating food or looking for candy or whatever? So the fact is, we justify and perpetuate the reason and excuse intellectually to sabotage something and to prove that we're not able to do it because we don't have the right time. Well, what is time management? And if you really want to do something and you're really hungry and excited to do it, then get off your butt and go and do it. And don't look at the end result. Look at learning and getting good at the process and technique. That's what martial arts guys do. That's what those kung fu masters do and other people like that do. So, I'm not, if I look for a mistake, then I'm going to justify the reason not to do it. The mistake is not doing it. The mistake is learning something and not applying it. The mistake is taking what you learn and throwing it into a mix and making a Hungarian goulash of every other little process to dilute it. It's like going to a carnival and there's a balloon there on the wall, and if you hit that balloon, you'll win some big teddy bear. Well, so someone's going to take 10 darts. And they're going to throw these 10 darts down, and these 10 darts are going to all go all over the place and not hit the balloon. And that's because they have diluted the focused state of concentration, the purity of their technique. And each technique in its purest form is the most beautiful. But if I incorporate it and dilute it and make it generic in everything else, then I'm going to have limited successes and abilities. Plus, I'm going to be all worried about, now I got to throw in a little NLP, and now I got to do some visual imagery, and now I got to throw some Ericksonian confusion into it, and now I got to do a little bit of tapping and have their eyes move this way and that way and up and down, and it's taking something and homogenizing it, putting various taking the nature out of it. It's called denature.
And too much from here. And also, if I don't allow myself to make mistakes, what example am I for my client?
Right, but they don't even go to the word mistakes. Why do you believe in the word called mistakes? What happened if you were raised and you never even heard the word mistake? What if you never knew what that word mistake would mean? Would you still be making a mistake? No. Because you've already classified something as that's not good. That could be like what you might call a failure or it didn't work, and you call it a mistake. There are no mistakes. And if I live on mistake or failure or losing, then I'm totally setting up my mindset to be limited.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when the bandwidth went down, you also wanted to react on that. I said the problem is not outside, but the problem is inside.
There's no problem.
No, I didn't say the problem. I did the answer. I said.
Right. The answer is finding the right tools to learn how to utilize those tools to incorporate into your own ability to operate your mind effectively, successfully, and correctly. And stop thinking you are your thoughts, because you are not your thoughts. You are the operator behind those thoughts. So not every thought I think is the truth. Not every thought that comes into my mind is real. But if I want to make it real, then I have to. Exactly. Yeah. Just like some people's fears are really not real fears. Some people's depression is manufactured depression. So if I have manufactured fears and I'm the manufacturer of my stress, of my anxiety, well, guess what? Maybe I can close that manufacturing plant and create a new manufacturing plant within my mind to manufacture feeling happy, confident, manufacture feelings of feeling good, of feeling peaceful and relaxed. It's an operating system. and I have to learn to be the operator of this operating system. I am the IT guy of my mind.
Yeah. And you can choose. You can choose the program.
I can choose the program and I can delete old programs. But sometimes we need assistance from others. So sometimes we're too close to the effect that sometimes we need another resource, another team player or member that can enable us to let something go. Let's face it, I'm not, I didn't give myself radiation treatment. I went to a radiologist.
Yeah.
I didn't go and perform a radical salvage surgery on me with a robotic thing cutting through my stomach. I had an expert do it, but I found the best people to do it. So if you're gonna work with a therapist, find the best therapist. I did this. I've been doing all these online therapies, and I had some of my clients tell me they're coming in for a certain emotional issue. Or physical handicap. And they've been working with a therapist, a psychologist or psychiatrist or a hypnotist or whatever, or EFT, the people, or the EMDR people for months and years, and yet they're coming in to see me for the same issue. Why the hell are you seeing somebody for a year or 6 months on something that's not working for you? Why are you continuing doing something that's not working? I don't get it. See, that's why I do short-term therapy. If I can't put you in control of this operating system, and if I can't help you integrate your minds together and teach you how to be the integrator, the mind programmer, the neural programmer, if I can't teach you this and if we're not creating the successes that you want to achieve, remember I didn't say failures, if we're not achieving the successes that you want to achieve with 1 to 4 sessions, then maybe this isn't the right modality for you, or maybe it's not the right time for you. But no matter what, we have planted seeds in your subconscious, and maybe you will make that decision later on to let that old program go, that old behavior go, that old habit go, that old mindset go. Wow. Free-flowing communication. Unscripted.
Yes.
And that's the way we need to be. It's important that you become a good receiver to be an even better transmitter.
Yeah.
If I don't understand your situation, truly understand what it is you want to achieve, how can I help you achieve it? If I want to give you what I think you need, I'm not providing you with what it is you want. So what do you think of our conversation for today?
I love it.
And
that's also
one other thing. Go ahead.
That's part of being a good host. Just listen to you.
Well,
it's amazing. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Because you're hearing experience, philosophy, and technology. Experience, philosophy, and technology. I love that. I got to write that down. Experience, philosophy, and technology. And the funny thing about a lot of these people learning hypnosis, or these up-and-coming, hypnotists that want to take over the world and be number one and the fastest and all this other stuff. And the funny thing is, people tend to gravitate towards those people, but they think that people who have been in the field a long time are just old fuddy-duds. They're just, has-beens or old-timers that are still using stuff that's 40 years old. Guess what? Most of the training courses by these textbook trainers are using technologies that are 20 years, 40 years, 100 years old, or completely incorrect. They got to realize that certain people like me continue to fine-tune and advance methodology. See, the more I know, the more I don't know. The more I know, the more I know I don't know, the more I can learn through exploration and scientific research and to advance. So I'm continuously advancing the processes based on neurology, physiology, neuroplasticity, physiological plasticity, and the amplification or de-amplification of various nervous systems within the body that get activated through the through the spinal cord and the various electrical transmissions into the rewirings of the brain, the neural pathways, and then also the electricities that move into the muscles, nerves, fiber, and tissue within the body. So I think that and I've had people want to hang with me and come out and pick my brain and all this other stuff, and unfortunately, my time is very valuable. But I'm always there for people. That's the other thing. If someone, some people, you contact them, and if you talk to them for 10 minutes, they're charging you hundreds of dollars because everything is a money game.
Yeah.
It's all money. It's all making money off of you. Let's get you in. Let's get your money. Let's spit you out. And let's have you, and I don't care if you lose or fail or win or succeed. I don't care if you have a practice or not practice, because now I want to give you I want to take you to the next level and get more money out of you. So where is the purity in the essence of people?
And that's exactly what we need. And that's exactly, I think, how clients come to me or to you. And that's not because of all the books we read. That's because of who I am and what I put into it. And that's what it's hard to offer it or to put it on a flyer, and because it's not what it's really about.
Right, and let's face it, there's a saturation of trainers out there. Every course, there's a trainer certification course. I know guys that have trained, that went to an NLP course, then they went to an advanced NLP course, then they went to an NLP practitioner trainer's course, and now they're teaching NLP. And how many? There are so many people out there that are teaching everything. Everything look under hypnosis on Google. There's millions of them. Look under hypnotherapy courses. There's millions, and it's just everything is saturated. Everything is saturated.
And training is a good business model. People told me more than once, why don't you start your own school and start to train?
Right.
But I'm not interested.
Right, and that's because the making the money of training.
Yeah.
And for most of those people, it's been too challenging for them to build up a hypnotherapy practice, a therapy practice. So they become a trainer because they're getting a group of people in, and it's all based on advertising, promotion, and sizzle.
Yeah.
And again, some training courses are fantastic. There's some great people out there. There's some great hypnotherapists out there, but there is a lot of incongruency in the knowledge of what hypnosis is, and as well as confusion in the words. If I say sleep, 3, 2, 1, 0, sleep, I'm already confusing a person that's in the medical, scientific, psychological realm, a very highly intellectual person, because hypnosis is not sleep. Hypnosis is a state of increased receptivity. It's a state of increased concentration. So, and then if I say deeper and deeper, well, what does that mean? That can mean going into the ocean. So it's creating an open channel of receptivity to communicate and access and transmit information into the subconscious hard drive of a person's mind. And so I do think that we're moving ahead, and we're also moving backwards. And we're going to see a lot more restrictions, because there's going to be a lot of people, and there already is, a lot of people that see a hypnotherapist and they leave feeling worse than they did when they came in, because the words they used amplified abreaction or rumination or other emotional traumas of their past.
Yeah. And of course, if people don't know themselves, which is, I think, the most important thing we have to do life on this planet, and just go to courses and learn a trick. And then if you have a patient or a client and something is really happening and you don't know how to deal with it, then you create a problem. And that's also what's going on. And that gives a bad name. But what I want to suggest, I think I will watch this again, of course, maybe 5 times, who knows, and get questions, and maybe we can continue and get more into details. If you say that's fine and like it. And I think it's also nice, I would like to have a little time now that you tell a little more about your book? Because I also had the idea that it was for a time you could not talk about it. It was, how you say it in English, it was
it was top secret.
Cleared.
It was confidential information. It's been declassified. My work
that's classified,
but my work in the book was never declassified because it was buried. The information that was obtained and the results that were attained to help clarify the whole case involving the murder of Captain Yin, the purchase of defective battleships from France and German minesweepers, and also $2.4 billion weapons procurement scandal. My work, what I did, my secret missions, and my covert hypnosis is in this book. But the government, the DOD, had buried this information, and probably because it's such a high-profile crime, and there's too many people that were high in political arenas in France and in Taiwan, high political actors that knew about this case or were directly or indirectly involved to some respect. But this book also, covers my life story, my personal tragedies with trauma, childhood trauma, behind the scenes things that occurred when I worked on TV shows and NBA stuff. Things that some people would say went wrong, catastrophic events that were behind the scenes that I reveal in this book. Also, it discusses the addiction that I had in the past, and I get into that, and family dynamics and toxified relationships that I had in the past in marriage and things like that. So we really get into the meat and potatoes of who I am, Tom Silver, of what I did to move ahead, and that I never gave up on my belief in what it was that I needed to do to make my life better and to resolve one of the biggest crimes in Taiwan and France history. I mean, I'll just read the back of this book because it's interesting. An international mystery murder based on real events. In 1993, Taiwanese Navy Captain Yen Chen Feng was found murdered by a local fisherman in eastern Taiwan. 2 years earlier, the Taiwanese Navy had signed a $2 billion deal with France for the delivery of Lafayette warships to Taiwan. Major defects were discovered within the warships. And after the murder of Captain Yin, it became clear that corruption within the ranks was front and center in the scandal that rocked France and Taiwan. The Taiwanese Navy superiors recruit hypnotist Tom Silver as a secret agent to help resolve the crimes with hypnosis. And a gentleman named Michael Sasson, who was a New York Times bestseller, who wrote an amazing book that became a movie. He wrote, because Suzanne Silver, my wife, was the one who wrote this book based on my memoirs that I started writing after I was working on the case in 1999. He wrote, Kill the Hypnotist will draw the reader into a fascinating world of mystery and espionage. Michael Sasson, New York Times best-selling author. So this book is really, it's a great book. There's a picture of my dear wife. Who wrote the book. And in the back of the book, actually, I even have a few various photos of some of the Secret Service agents that I worked with. Because I was in Taiwan from 94 to 99 on and off. And my gold plate of honor. From the Taiwan Department of Defense. And I believe this is the only recognition from a country ever regarding the technology that I utilized and created of hypnosis. So I'm really happy about this book. I've given it to a lot of important people that I've met that wanted to read it. Kevin Costner, for one of them, who's a very renowned actor and things like that.
I saw you with you on Facebook.
So I'm really happy about that, and it's available on my website, on my book publishing website, Suto Publishing, SUTO, which stands for Suzanne, my wife, and Tom.
Okay.
Suto publishing.com. This book is there, and there's actually some documentary videos that I recorded while I was working with the Secret Service guys and on the secret compounds and things. I didn't record the interrogations because that wasn't allowed. Too many generals involved, and it was too secretive. But I do have a lot of documentary footage of my work in Taiwan and TV shows that I did out there between 1994 and 95, 97 and 1999. I'm really excited about that. And again, I'm creating an online course curriculum for that the students who take it will receive their own certification. I'm keeping the cost real low, because I want people to learn scientific hypnosis. Great reinforcer for you. You'll notice some of the people in these videos, and maybe even yourself. And it's a scientific hypnotherapy course, and actually that website, when it comes up, will be online hypnotherapycourse.com. Online hypnotherapycourse.com.
Okay.
And I'm going to be charging like $295.
Mm.
Yeah, because I want people to understand scientific hypnosis, just like you did in the course. I don't have other courses. I don't have more advanced courses, but I think it's time that we realize. And later on, I'm going to be teaching a course on conducting online hypnotherapy, interactive online hypnotherapy with physical and shock induction methods that you can incorporate while you're communicating with a person 10 miles away or thousands of miles away. I think that's fantastic. Yeah. So anyway, but I'm not here to be promoting all this stuff. We're just talking together as two friends and colleagues. I miss you. I miss Holland. I want to get back. I want us to get back together and go around the town. Hey, remember when we went into, was it Amsterdam, where I hypnotized some waitress?
Yeah, that was in Amsterdam, on the Leidseplein.
Yeah, and we went into that open restaurant. Next thing you know, I'm doing a standing, physical shock induction on her and giving her some suggestions, and we videotaped that. Remember that?
Yeah.
We sure had a lot of fun. Wasn't it fun? It was great, and we're interviewing people. Remember, we're trying to interview people about what they thought about hypnosis. And once you mentioned the word hypnosis, someone would turn away. They wouldn't even want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of good work to do in educating people of this extraordinary science. Used to be called animal magnetism, mesmerism, electrobiology, suggestive therapeutics. Those were old names of this process. But it's important that people start understanding that hypnotherapy is an amazing, amazing modality. It's being used in more hospitals. It's used now in more hospitals in Holland than it is anywhere around the world. So it's about time that...
And it's beautiful to have it as an online training, because the good thing of online training is that you can watch it more than once.
Watch it more than once. And if people contact me, I'm available to talk with them, to maybe give them some tips and everything. I don't have my fingers out. It's not money. It's knowledge. It's information, and it's education, philosophy, and understanding of the methodologies of scientific hypnosis that will raise the bar in hypnosis to one day be as accepted as every other cognitive behavioral modification therapy and process, as well as like chiropractic, acupuncture, acupressure, and medicine, because hypnosis is a form of mental medicine, and it is a psychological, physiological, and neurological process that can work so well if it's conducted correctly with very limited or no side effects, except positive.
It is, and I'm amazed sometimes by the results and the fun, because it's so easy to forget it for myself. But last week again, I recorded a tape and I've been listening to it every day, and it's amazing. The results, I cannot really predict what's going to happen, but it's always, it's me doing it with my own voice, with my own language, and it's just a little effort to do how to create a life.
Absolutely.
And it's easy. I mean, I can choose to have a bad childhood or a beautiful childhood, to be, how you call it, rejected by my parents, or to be loved by them. So.
Right. So the question is, do you want your mind to operate you and to live in a limited world and limited happiness and walk around amplifying negative emotions or habits or behaviors? Or do you want to be the operator of your mind to tell your mind when to think, what to think, how to think, and when to stop thinking? See, and if I realize that I can be the operator of my mind already, then I'm more powerful in my ability to change my life and to be aware of my thoughts and to choose the right positive thoughts and emotions that I choose to feel that will amplify my health, vitality, and quality of who I am more every single day. That's a little wisdom at the end.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's lovely to be with you again. Even that's the beauty part of having this online tool.
It's like we never left each other.
Exactly. It's like we're still eating sushi in Scheveningen.
Oh gosh, or walking that little windy day by that beach behind that hotel or whatever it was, and watching the ocean and the waves.
In Noordwijk.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
So exciting, so much fun. But that's what life's about. Life is about, if you're going to focus on memories, then focus on the pure, fun, joyful memories. Yeah, don't go back and romance the negative. Don't go back with morbid reflection. Go back and find the things in your life that you felt great, happy, joyful, free, beautiful, kind, loving, and bring that to who you are now.
Exactly, and don't watch the news.
Yeah, and if you do, separate from all of that negativity out there. We're always bombarded by that. But we don't have to accept it as our reality.
No. Yeah. That's hypnosis.
Well,
what they are doing now all the time.
Every political ploy and all the news and the propaganda and all the repetition of all these things, good or bad, is all forms of hypnosis. Remember that.
Yeah.
It all affects us one way or another. I want to be affected by feeling happy and joyful.
Exactly.
Hey, look at me, man. I'm better than I was in Holland.
Yeah, true. Your skin looks very, very good, and your eyes are bright, and you're still on fire.
Yeah, life is great. So write a gratitude list. Write all the things that you're grateful for, and start deleting the negative one by one. Throw it into your mental trash bin and empty it. Get rid of it. It's no longer who you are. Yesterday, last year, and 10 years ago, that's all history. So separate the emotion from the history. Learn from our history so that you can be better in who you are today. The future is imagination. Color the future of imagination with beautiful thoughts, ideas, and take the steps to achieve those results. I'm Tom Silver, and I'll see you next time on our Talk Together. Okay, Jeanette?
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.